The second race of the weekend at Imola, and Riccardo Fella on pole position for the first time after fixing a power steering issue. The Ferrari and Felipe Fraga, rather than being at the back of the grid, at the front of the grid, sharing the front row. The race got underway. The Ferrari pushed hard. The Brazilian couldn't quite get through on the way into Tamburello though, and Felipe dropping into second place, but a move up to third in the Mercedes from fourth on the grid for Maro Engel. Put Marco Wittmann in the leading BMW down to fourth place. A good start for Nick Cassidy as well, into fifth position. Everybody surviving the first run through the first chicane, but then things got a little bit messy later on in the first lap. Contact between Max Buch and Laurent Vantour, and others off in avoidance, dropping down the field, including Schumacher. Vantour would retire, and then an error coming out of the final corner on the first lap of the race meant a change of lead. Fraga ending lap one in first place in the Ferrari. Running just slightly wide with a wheel through the gravel trap was Fella, and that was enough to lose the traction coming out onto the start-finish straight. So the Ferrari through and into the lead of the race. On board with Lucas Auer as he and the Mercedes ran side by side with Rene Rast. Race one winner here at Imola, but now carrying 25 kilograms of success ballast that went side by side. Two didn't fit into one. Rast was out of the race, and so too Rolf Eneischen and Thomas Preining. That brought about an early safety car. Two drivers came through into the pits just as the pit window opened. Arjun missed out by a couple of seconds, but Dev Gore, who'd already been in for a puncture, came in and was able to get a pit stop done behind the safety car. Felipe Fraga just about getting out in front of Fella, and Mirko Bortolotti and Lucas Auer coming together as there was carnage inside the pit lane. On the restart then, we had two drivers that had not been into the pits. Nick Cassidy in the Ferrari, and alongside him in the SSR Performance Porsche, Dennis Olsen. It was side by side as the race got back going into Tamburello, but Cassidy held off the Norwegian driver. Dev Gore getting ahead of Arjun and into third place. And then Felipe Fraga, who dropped back with contact with Lucas Auer. Huge damage to the right rear corner of the Ferrari and a puncture. The Brazilian's misfortunes continued. 6 races and only 1 race finish. And a real shame for him out of the race. The replay showing that it was a very heavy hit from just behind. Lucas Auer, though, was able to continue and play a pretty important part in the second half of the race. Dev Gore versus Riccardo Fella was the next battle. A great run coming out of Tosa for the Swiss driver. Through he went, and that would be enough to put him into third place overall and the virtual race lead. A great battle as well between Nico Muller and Lucas Stoltz, as well as Maximilian Gutz. The three of them side by side. Muller struggling with the tyres, defending hard, contact between them, 3 abreast on the run through turn 1. The reigning champion on the grass, but somehow Muller was able to keep them all at bay. Bortolotti coming through and Lucas Stoltz dropping to the back of the queue. Huge battle for 8th place. Battles further back as well. Schumacher coming together with Zug. Through the gravel trap they both went. They would both end up retiring from the race. And then a battle between Lucas Auer and Marco Wittmann for the final place on the podium it would become. And this, on the last lap of the race, a slight error from Lucas Auer meant the German was able to get through. And then the championship leader, Sheldon van der Linde, got his nose in front as well. But Lucas Auer wasn't going to give up another place, and they ran side by side up the hill. A first win, though, in the DTM for Riccardo Fella, controlling the race to take a superb victory and become the 5th different winner of the season. Dev Gore with his first ever points in DTM and a podium finish in second, and Marco Wittmann coming home in third after that last lap move on Lucas Auer. So celebrations for Riccardo Fella after some misfortune of the last few races. He comes home with a win here in Imola.